Relationship loyalty is gold when it comes to business. It's gold when it comes to success. It's gold when it comes to growth. And showing up is not about like actually being there. I mean, obviously when you're there, you did show up, like your body has arrived. We're not talking about your body being there. We're talking about mentally actually showing up.
I'm saying this in kindness. Stop trying to be famous and work on your craft.
What?
And
I want to be famous, Drea.
Welcome to another episode of Successful Stylist Academy podcast. I'm Drea. I'm super excited to get in a little bit of time with you guys today. And this new season is all about these micro episodes, giving you guys all of those tangible tips that you can put right in your pocket and immediately utilize to make life easier and grow your business. I am here with my brilliant, beautiful friend and founder of Successful Stylist Academy, Ambrosia Carey, and she has a really exciting announcement to share with you guys at the end of this episode. So be sure and hang out until the end. Today, we're talking about 6 ways to retain clients today. Hey, Ambrosia.
Hi, Drea. Hi, SSA community. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm really excited to kick off this one because I feel like sometimes we want to work a little bit harder at things that we really don't need to. So these are some tangible things that you guys can totally walk with, especially like what Drea was just saying, you can walk away with in your back pocket. Just put it in your pocket and take it out when you're ready for it. So I am going to kick this off with consistent communication. And let me get a little more specific about that because we always say that consistency is key, communication is key, but what do we do with all these keys? Like, I would say appointment reminders are going to be a really big one. So appointment reminders for our clients, it's just kind of an expectation in today's standards. Most clients, if they are not writing it down on their own, it's going to slip through the cracks. They're going to forget about it. And you have to remember that we have tons of devices now, and so do our clients. So appointment reminders are key. And then the main thing with that is you want to also follow up with a follow-up message of some kind, depending on how you like to do things. I think it's really important that we follow up with our appointments. And so we want to do before, during, and after. We always want to think about the process of how we can make life easier for our clients. That's the idea. The next part of that would be to personalize offers. So if you're going to personalize an offer to your client, how can you best suit those and come up with your buzzwords, like the major words that you would want to use when you're personalizing that for your client. But I think it's really cool to let your client know that this is something that is just for them. So one way could be through email marketing. We've talked about that before too. And we'll make sure to dive more into that into a different podcast because we'll need a whole 20 minutes to talk about that in itself. But if you do that through your email marketing, make sure that that stream is really solid so you can have that client opt in for a segment where they're like, yes, I'm interested in learning more about how to grow out my hair. Or yes, I'm interested in learning more about what trends are coming forward for 2024, something along those lines. So think about ways that you can personalize that for your client, because the more specific you can get with that client, the easier it is to retain them, the easier it is to sell to them, the easier it is to run business and to carry through with that business with them. The last part of that personalizing piece is having several ways to communicate with your clients. Not every client is going to communicate the same. Think of love languages, right? Like some people prefer emails, some people want SMS, some people want it through social, some people want it through the phone, some people just want it in person. So we want to make sure that we offer many different ways of communicating and find out the most effective way for each client. So you can just simply ask them, like, how do you best like to communicate? Do you like to do it in person? Do you like to do it through email? Just ask the client that, and then you'll know for the future. And then on top of that, update them on promotions and new services and special events. So all of that, if you have that part of your consistent communication, it makes it easier for you and your clients to make sure that you have a well-rounded understanding of how your business works and they know what to expect from you and vice versa. Okay, back to you, Drea.
Such good ones, Ambrosia. You guys, I'm just going to come in really hot. Do not tune out. Stick with me. I'm saying this in kindness. Stop trying to be famous and work on your craft.
What?
And
I want to be famous, Drea.
Stop trying to be famous and work on your craft. Okay. And I'm saying to you guys, I'm saying out of love, I have said to myself, I will probably have to say to myself again. And when I say this, I really am talking to everyone because there's always more to learn. constantly like working on our skill set, working on our craft. But I'm really talking to those stylists who are overwhelmed, excited, coming into the industry hot, and there's so many distractions. And when you're building a clientele and you are a new stylist, everyone that sits in your chair will not stay in your chair. And that's okay, because you don't have the experience and the skill set to make that happen, whether that be with the skill set of hair or with the skill set of caring for your clients, because there's two parts to that. And some of that is going to come with experience, but you can expedite that process by working on your craft and working on those two components in our craft, caring for our client and how you're executing the hair. So I say this, and what this looks like to me is one, kind of two parts to it: developing in the dark and practice, practice, practice. And that is not worrying about who's watching, how many likes you get, how many followers you have on Instagram, but are you taking classes? Are you growing through the process? Are you more worried about the small things that you're doing that people see, or the big things that you're doing to get better, so that when your moment arrives, you are truly ready? Whether that's the client sitting in your chair, the perfect reel you want to create, walking into Salon and sharing something with other stylists. I think there's so much that goes into our job now with social media and following trends and impressing each other, doing booking and follow, like some of the stuff even Ambrosia talked about, and getting our stuff to our tax person. There's a lot that goes into it. And I think we have to remember to go back to basics, because if we're not doing amazing work on our clients and caring for them, the other stuff won't matter. So developing your craft, taking classes, accepting constructive criticism, being willing to grow, practice, 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 taking out that mannequin. If you're someone who's building, and I see this all the time, stylists want to be busy, but if they don't have a client, they're not engaged or they're not at the salon. What hours have you designated to work? Yes. In those hours, whether there's a client in your chair or not, so those are the times that you are having mindful mastery. It takes 10,000 hours to be a master at someone. Put in those hours at that time. Why do you still have them available to you? That's the silver lining of not being busy, is you're getting better at your craft while everyone else is in the chaos of being busy. So I think taking out your mannequin, saying hello, getting drinks for other people's clients. That client might have a family member, might have a friend who needs a stylist, and that current stylist doesn't have room for them. And just by you showing up, practicing, these are things that I think is developing your craft rather than scrolling. You can have the most beautiful social media page ever. If you can't do hair, they're not coming back. If you can't communicate and care for them, they are not coming back. So I really think just being careful not to get caught up and focusing on your craft. And the last component to that is honoring what's in your hands now. Working with what's in your hands now. Are you taking care of the clients that you have now while you're asking for more? Is your whole station clean and organized and ready to receive that client? Are you a pleasure to work with? Is your paperwork up to date? Like, are you organized? This is the time that you have to do that. So I think these are things that can get overlooked, and we get under the pressure of an expectation of all these other things. And it really comes down to, if this isn't intact, the rest doesn't matter. So that's my number one.
Amen, Drea. I love that one. It's all about the two main people in our life, Sharon and Karen. Sharon and Karen. I just totally busted out like a dad joke. Okay, sorry. I'm going to stay on track, you guys. My next one actually for you guys is all about the loyalty. Like, let's offer loyalty programs. If you're not already offering a loyalty program, and most scheduling systems do these days, make sure you get on that, because That can happen through pre-booking, referrals, products, online booking, purchasing a gift card, and you can use that toward a service or retail. But a lot of people really like that when they find out that they have loyalty points. And some clients will even ask, like, how many points do I have? Or how much money do I have in my loyalty point system? And some people can even do like an online portal and like look at that too. So loyalty programs are really awesome. It's a great way to have like that relationship with your client, but also it's showing that like you incentivize people for sticking around, and people like to feel taken care of. It's just like one of those little tiny things where it's like, oh, that's cool. And it might just be $5 towards your product, but it doesn't matter. It's just, the point is that they know that they're getting rewarded for something by being loyal to you. And that is so much more important than anything on the planet. Relationship loyalty is gold when it comes to business. It's gold when it comes to success. It's gold when it comes to growth. Lots of golden nuggets in here. Drea, do you have another one for us?
Yeah, and it's right along the lines with that. I mean, speaking of people want to be cared for, mine is show up and serve. Because I think sometimes we're like, oh, this person's lucky to be in my chair. And they are. And they are. You are amazing. But we're in the service industry. We're there to serve our clients. And does that mean we don't have healthy boundaries? Absolutely not. But remembering to show up and serve our clients, these are the ways that we're really going to build client rapport and retention. And this is from before the clients even come in the salon, all the way until after they have already left the salon. So I like making it plain. Like if you haven't made it plain the way that you want to choose to serve your clients and how you go through your appointments and your time with your clients, I think sometimes writing it down until we've done it enough times, like, is actually very helpful. So if that looks like sending out like a welcome letter to our clients and saying, hey, like, I can't wait to meet you. Here's some things. Like, you can create something really cute on Canva really quick and send that to them. So saying hello beforehand, letting them know you're looking forward to the appointment. Then they come in. The way that you greet them, the way that you communicate through your consultation is how you show up and serve them. Checking in with them, making sure that they don't feel forgotten about, like, during the process, even if you're double booked. Another thing is spending maybe a little extra time at the shampoo bowl, spending some time operating within that love language of physical touch, giving them a great scalp massage, just showing up in the little things. I always like to let my clients know my process a little bit. I cut hair dry. A lot of clients haven't had their hair cut dry before. So I don't want them to think I forgot about their haircut. So I say, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do this and this and this, and then I'm going to finish you out this way. And that way, they're not wondering if they should say something. There's no surprises. I'm eliminating any of the anxiety that's happening with this new appointment and this new process before they get to know me. So just paying attention to their needs, going the extra, mile with them. And then I believe that, like, as they leave, I don't like to do a quick checkout. Like, I like to walk them up, walk them out, check them out through the entire experience, touching base on next time, rebooking, thanking them, and seeing maybe any of their retail needs are met. So after they leave the salon, I mean, that's where I'm going to pass it back over to you, because my next one is about follow-up, but going through and still serving them in a way to go back and follow up with them. But I think the way that we care for our clients and the way that they feel seen and heard is really going to make a difference whether or not that they return to us.
And showing up is not about like actually being there. I mean, obviously when you're there, you did show up, like your body has arrived. We're not talking about your body being there. We're talking about mentally actually showing up. And I know for a fact that if I have days where I don't show up, then I know for a fact we're all human. We can't always be there all the time. Like maybe our physical body will be there, but mentally we're not completely there. And so this kind of segues into my next thing, which is all about personalization. I know I mentioned that word earlier, but personalization is really important to people today. They want to know that you're tailoring a service that's meeting the needs of that person specifically. They want to make sure that you remember the details and the preferences of what they like. We can talk like all the way into like some of my clients that just want fragrance free. They're really sensitive to fragrances, or they don't like high contrast blondes, even though you see it all over the pages of our Instagram. Sometimes people don't like high contrast. Some people actually want a really natural look. Some people actually don't like really blunt bobs. They want to have like a really shaggy look. Or some people, you know what I mean? Like personalize it to fit and tailor to that person. And the more that you understand them, then the more you know where you can kind of push in one direction or another. You know where your limitations are a little bit. And that's a really great way to like not just tailor, but help your client grow with you. And remember, perception is reality. So if a client perceives that you don't do something to their liking, they're going to feel like you don't get them, or that you might not be good at what you do. That would be the worst thing, right? Somebody thinks that you're not good at what you do. That doesn't, but we're not, it doesn't mean that we actually are bad at what we do. It just means that we didn't fit their expectations or their preference level or their trust. And it's always about that. We always want to put that we always want to put that first. I'm having a hard time talking today. So when it comes to consistent communication, just kind of going back to some of that consistent communication, and stop trying to be famous and working on your craft and offering a loyalty program, showing up and serving your client and doing things that's personalized. None of this is a new information, right? But it's the most important and valuable today is what we see. And I know Drea has one more for you guys. So I just want to make sure that we're really emphasizing that these key things is what has really helped us build not just a successful business, but really successful, long-lasting relationships where we don't have to scout out new clients all the time.
Well said. And like lastly, just goes with the flow, and that is follow-up. And if you're still building clientele, if your goal is to be booked out 4 weeks in advance, 8 weeks in advance, whatever that looks like for you, if that isn't the current like way things are happening for you yet, then I feel that you should have time for this, or that we can do better at making time for this. So following up is huge. You'd be shocked at the small percentage of stylists who actually do this. You know, it's like they're out of my chair, they paid, especially if they pre-booked, you're like, it's in the bag. But these are the things that once it's in the bag that you still care, make all the difference in the world. So I am still following up with every new client that I have after 22 years of being behind the chair and in the business. So that's how, yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Hey, thanks. It works. You know, when you find something that works, that matters and makes a difference to people and makes them feel special, then you're going to stick with that. And this can be done multiple ways. I mean, it can be as simple as a text. And you just go at the end of your week, and any new clients that you had or any clients that you want to follow up with. Also, this is something that I'll do once in a while if I do a big change on a client that I've already had, because it's almost like a new thing again. So shooting a quick text like, hey, that was really exciting. Thank you for trusting me with your hair. How's it going? I just wanted to check in, make sure that you're loving it. You know, it can be so simple. It can be an email, depending on the form of communication that your client prefers, as Ambrosia shared. It can be old school, like maybe if when your clients check in at the front desk, you have their address. Well, you can have a big old stack of thank you cards that you've created, and you can mail them a thank you card if that is something that fits like your culture of the way that you communicate with your clients and something that you've made allowance for time for. A phone call if you want to get really, really personal. So I think following up, just letting them know that you're thinking of them, that you want to make sure they're happy. This is also a great opportunity to turn a negative into a positive, because if they're not happy, maybe they would have never called. And maybe it's something really simple that would be so easy to bring them in, fix, and then they're your client forever because you cared and you took the time to address things. So you can definitely turn something that maybe you would have never heard from this person again, and you've checked on them and they're like, well, actually, and they get to share it with you, and you get to say, well, that's what this follow-up is for. And I want to make sure you are 100% happy when would be convenient for me to bring you in and alter that for you to make sure that you're walking the right way, feeling really, really good. And so following up, I think, is part of showing up for our clients. And it is a great way to just take that extra step to have client rapport and retention. You going to wrap us up here, Ambrosia?
Let's wrap her up. So as we promised in the very beginning of this episode, if you remember, all 20 something minutes ago, we did say that we have something for you, and we truly appreciate, but we also value what you guys have to say. We really value those reviews that you have been giving us on Apple Podcasts. So we would love to actually include you in something that is really special and near and dear to me. Any and all Apple Podcast reviewers will be automatically entered to receive and selected at random at Successful Stylist Academy's support pack. So what's inside of a support pack is it includes one of our SSA t-shirts, a notepad, a pen, a template pack of choice, and a 60-minute marketing discovery plan with myself. We'll be ringing out together and going over your numbers and talking about like a true game plan that you can do to start strategizing for your own marketing for your business, your salon, or even as a hairstylist. So I definitely want to incentivize you guys. If you have not already dropped us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do so. This is something that will be going on for the rest of the month. At the very end of the month, we will be announcing that at Successful Stylist Academy on the podcast. And we'll also be announcing it here in the podcast itself in case you do miss it. So I just want to thank you all for being a part of this. And I want to encourage you guys to dream big, set goals, and take action. Let's go, guys. I will see you guys next week and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.